What does an Italian sports car
have to do with a Fury? You'll find out in this week's episode of
Alright guys, welcome to Tops episode 9. This week we're going to be doing one of the most suggested Tops episodes yet. And that is our top vehicles or cars is what it is. So Daniel, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Alright, well I'll start off with and I know nothing about cars, so this isn't about fuel economy or mileage or whatever it can get. I don't know anything about them, so I'll start with the ones that I like just looking at. I like the 4th generation Dodge Coronet, I believe it is. That one's really cool. It has sort of the old muscle car type look. Most of my cars are from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, my favorites. And that one was really cool. It just had that old look. It almost looked, it was sort of similar to a Mustang, I think, and a Ford Thunderbird. But it's sort of that old muscle car type look.
Yeah. Well, number 5 on my list has to be a Prius. That was a joke, folks. It's gonna be the Dodge Viper. I really love the look of this car. It's very sleek, but it's also built, and that's what most of my cars that I have on my list. I like a car that looks like can dominate the road, I suppose. Yeah. It looks like a manly car. Yeah. So, but it's not a Prius. But the version or the picture that we're showing you is the one with the red one with the racing stripes, and I like that one a lot. It's very nice.
So the next one on my list that I have, I'll go with the Ford Thunderbird. I like any of generations 1 through 7. 8 and 9, the more modern ones, I don't really care for, and 10, those generations just sort of lost the feel. It has the same as it's a Ford, so it's similar to the Mustang. It's a little bit more elongated, I believe, at least in some of the earlier versions, and but it's got the same sort of muscle car. You've seen it in a 60s movie kind of feel to it.
All right. Number 4 for me, it's got to be the Cadillac Eldorado. This is one of the cars, I'm pretty sure you have it on your list, from the 1960s. It also looks, it's probably my favorite from the Cadillacs. It's just like a classic car, and when you see it, you definitely think of 60s. And it also just looks like a car I'd like to drive around just because it's so cool looking.
Yeah, I like the long ones, the long Cadillacs with the big tail fins, the ones where you're like, that's a Cadillac, when you can easily tell, and you can tell it's from the 50s and 60s. Those are the ones I like. So that's what I'll just jump onto that one. I have the 69 Cadillac convertible. I really like that one. It's got a no top, which is always a bonus when you can have a car without a top, unless it rains. It looks cool when you're driving down the highway or whatever. Unless you live where we live in Wyoming, and then you freeze to death. But yeah, in California, it looks cool.
Yeah, if you live in California.
Or Florida, I guess.
So the next one on my list, this is more of a recent release. It's the Lamborghini I'm sorry, I can't read my handwriting. Aventador. It's not Avenger, but it's a Lamborghini. Pretty much any Lamborghinis I like. They also look very built. Some of them I like that kind of look like the Batmobile. Yeah, those ones are pretty cool. So.
And while I was doing this, I couldn't help thinking of all these different movie cars or TV show cars that I liked. And I think we'll have to do a favorite media car, like television movie or vehicle, because not all of them are cars. But the next one I have on my list is the 1958 Plymouth Fury. That one I saw, and I was looking around, I was clicking around, going to different cars that looked sort of like the ones that I was liking, and that one struck me. It was just a really cool one. It had nice tail fins that I really liked. It was longer. That's pretty much what all my cars are, as I've said. But the Plymouth Fury, the 58, was a really cool car that I think was a really cool car.
Yeah. Alright, so my next one, it's another recent release of a car, is the Ferrari LaFerrari. I don't know why they had Ferrari twice in the name, but if you're that rich of a company, I guess you can do whatever you want. So I really like the look of it. It's also really, really fast, and that's what I like. Unfortunately, there's speed limits restricting how fast you can go, and also money, so I can't get that car.
Yeah, these are all cars that we probably couldn't afford, but I mean, maybe some of them afford. But anyways, and I didn't mean for this to be at the top of my list. Are we at the last one already? Wow, that went fast. But I have on mine the 1964 Ford Mustang. I was trying not to put it on the top of my list, but you threw in the Cadillac in there, so I had to bump it to the top. So that one is at the top of my list. The first time I really noticed, I really actually liked the Mustang. I don't really like the modern Mustangs. It's heresy to you, but the first time I noticed it was when I was watching Adam 12, and Pete Malloy, the main officer, drives a Mustang around that time, 1964 through the early 70s, and I really liked it. And then I looked it up, and it was a Mustang, and I was surprised, sort of disappointed, but it's a really nice car.
Yeah. And as you may have guessed, my number one on my list has got to be the Mustang. I don't really care what make. I pretty much like all of them, except for maybe the one they just released. That one's a little questionable, but still, a lot of them I really do like, especially like this Shelby GT500. That one is up there for me. Especially like the convertible type. That one, I would, if there was any car I could get, I'd get that one. So
I'd get a Cadillac.
Yeah, I know. So I guess that brings us to the end of our list. Hopefully you enjoyed watching, and if you're one of the guys who proposed that we do this, hopefully you aren't disappointed with our lists.
Even though I'm not a car guy, and I probably never will be.
Yeah.
But I thought I did pretty good for what I knew about cars. And yet again, you see the difference of tastes. You have the Lamborghini and all these modern ones, and I have the 60s. But if you like this episode, or if you didn't like this episode, please comment and tell us what you think. Comment your cars.
Yeah, and if you have any more suggestions, we always are looking for some suggestions for the show. What you would like us to give our opinions about. Also, an announcement. We are going to be releasing some videos called off-the-shelf movie reviews, because we have this lovely shelf right here. There's all these movies on it, so we're going to be giving our reviews for those. So keep an eye out for that. And I think that's all for this week.
Yeah, just make sure you like, subscribe, share, if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, but
we're not forcing you.
We'd appreciate it. So yeah, that's it for this week.